William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1, and today we are going to talk about the SS Timmy. Now, in a feeble attempt to do a proof of life, I guess that's what you could call it, the High Command and the Task Force and Randy released what was titled A Message from Timmy. And the three or 4 minute long music video was supposed to convey something. I'm not sure what. The only thing I can conclude is that they were trying to convey the message that Tim was alive and well and playing around on the beach and looking at boats. But whether or not it proved that there is a proof of life is something of a question. And the reason is this. Now, apparently, the end of the video is both what was supposed to assure everybody that Timmy was fine and he's in protective custody, I guess, and other positive things, when in fact it proved just the opposite. And it was the picture of Timothy, his daughter, and other people in front of a boat. Now, I did some research, made a couple phone calls, and find out that that picture was taken somewhere around the end of March. This is 2 months before Timothy Holmseth made his last video and had not done anything since the end of May. And because of that photo being taken in March, that blew up any thought that it was a recent visit to the Gulf and that Timothy Holmseth is alive, well, and playing around on the beach. It was a false and feeble attempt to deceive the public once again. Now, there's no proof that Holmseth is dead. All the thing proves is that he was alive and well at the time the video was taken, and that rather than be going around looking for missing and exploited children and exposing all these frauds, he's playing around on the beach with no shirt on. So, that's a, so what? But this is the interesting thing. Let's say, for instance, that Tim Holmseth is alive. That Tim Holmseth is feeling great, on top of the world. But there's something else here. First of all, Tim Holmseth is not in any danger. Nobody's going to kill him or do harm to him or anything. And quite frankly, the vast majority of people don't care. Tim's actual audience is actually relatively small and is basically an audience that agrees with him. So Tim is preaching to the choir. They are not getting any new viewers, listeners, whatever you want to call it. It's just the same old, same old. But here is something to ponder. And it brings us back to the SS Terrified Timmy. Now, if they had left the video alone and had not included the picture of the boat, there really wouldn't be much to talk about. Now, there are other factors that would have given away the fact that this was an old video and not a current one. The primary one being that it's a little bit cold in southern Alabama right now to be running around half naked in the ocean. The water temperatures are down. It's cold, period, there. And there is also a hurricane on the way. Another one. So, it's not a good time to be down there. And there's hurricane damage from prior hurricanes in that region. You know, the fact that they were able to run around down there and not be a whole boatload of debris on the beach in the surrounding area was a dead giveaway, because it's easy enough to go back into the Mobile archives and both the newspaper and TV station and see that there was in fact a big mess in that very area of Alabama where these pictures were taken. There's a lot of cleanup down there. Funding isn't being given, so on and so forth. So, we have that. But now comes the big question that people might want to ask. What is Tim Homseth doing at a yacht dealer? You will note in the photo of Timmy and family that they are standing in front of a bunch of very expensive yachts on a pier that is owned by a yacht dealer. Why is Timothy Homseth looking at yachts? Well, maybe he's taken all that money that people have donated to go look for children and expose all these people in these ceremonies and stuff, and using the money to buy an expensive, and I mean expensive, yacht. He's pulling a Keith Copeland. He's buying expensive boats, or considering buying expensive boats. And the beach that he chose to go to is something of a resort. The beach is surrounded by very expensive hotels, and it's not really a cheap place to go to take a swim. And it's also very hard to get to. It's way down in the southern Gulf, a southern part of Alabama. So there's a lot of real interesting questions. So maybe Tim Homseth is alive and well, living in the lap of luxury aboard a $500,000 yacht in the middle of the ocean somewhere, on the dime of people that contributed to his efforts to, quote, seek out and rescue children, close quote. Kind of like that Keith Copeland person that Tim Homseth criticized last year. You know, the guy that owns the super church, goes around and buying Learjets and expensive cars and has a church the size of a sports arena and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe Tim decided that that's not such a bad way to live, and he went down with all the money from the donations that he gets, talked a good gate to the yacht dealer, bought himself a yacht. The Ss Terrified Timmy. Could be. Now, another point about this video that I'm going to bring up. I did a video called Musings of a Dead Guy that I made several hours before this so-called message from Timmy came about. So it's quite clear that this was a feeble attempt to debunk that video, because I had stated that there needs to be a proof of life as to when Timmy last was seen on the internet. I said all it would take is for him to show up on a video in a way that you could prove that he was actually alive recently, and that would solve the problem. Well, it didn't quite work because they screwed up. And instead of putting current stuff on there, they put on basically what was a home movie set to music. 80 to 90% of what was put on the video are years old. There was one image that was time-stamped in 2009. I believe it was his daughter in that one. And then there's another image that Timmy didn't even appear in. It was dated in 2019, and it was basically people taking a helicopter ride. So, once again, there is absolutely no proof that Timothy Homseth is alive today. There's no proof he's dead either. We're kind of in a twilight zone when we're trying to figure out what's going on with Timothy Homseth. Now, they did bring up the fiction that Tim Homseth is in protective custody yet again. Always seems to be that. You know, he's got his 6 Navy SEALs or 6 Marines or something, and they've got him in a compound somewhere to protect him against all these evil people that want to kill him or whatever. And it of course is an absolutely ridiculous claim to be making, because nobody cares. As long as Tim Homseth stays out of the state of Minnesota, he's home free. And even if he comes to Minnesota, he's going to have to screw up somehow in order to get arrested, because they're not waiting at the border at a blockade with shotguns in hand waiting for Tim Homseth to come across the border. They don't care. They're in the middle of a coronavirus crisis, and they got more serious thing to worry about than some smelly ex-pizza delivery driver that managed to beat a misdemeanor rap. So Tim Homseth has nothing to worry about. He doesn't have to be in any kind of government protection because they simply don't care. The FBI thinks he's a joke. The Secret Service thinks he's a joke. They're keeping an eye on him because he keeps bringing up this stupid death threat that his handler is calling a, quote, news story, close quote. Because that's all it is. It's a piece of fiction. There's no death threat against the President of the United States from this crowd. It's a fantasy made up so people can think of Tim Homseth as this big hero, which I think is amazing. The stupidity of the people that follow this man is just outright incredible, because they actually believe that he is doing something to rescue children. He's not doing a damn thing. Swimming in the ocean, playing around, posing in front of a yacht is not going to save one single child. It's just rubbing people's faces into the dirt that he is able to extract money from people close to $1,000 a month and somehow possibly have the funds to go out and buy a yacht. I don't know who he's going to get to drive it, because he probably doesn't know how to drive that damn thing. You know, there's more to piloting a yacht than there is to driving a car, especially the ones the size of the one that he was looking at. You know, 40-foot yacht, you have to have a captain's license. At least I think you do. And it would help to know how to drive one of the damn things. And, piloting a yacht is not the easiest thing in the world. It takes a little skill. It's like driving a truck. You gotta know what the hell you're doing. Tim would have been better off to go out and buy a motorhome instead of buying a yacht. Maybe the next time we see Tim in a video, he'll be inside of a motorhome. Because he seems to have this dream of spending a lot of money. And the handler has admitted that he's making a lot of money. And so, if people are stupid enough to give money to this man, he's more than happy to go out and buy a damn yacht. And that's what's looked like what we're doing here, is Mr. Homeseth is buying a yacht. Now, on another subject, Sarah Dunklin, who is another member of this band of idiots, is going to be having a hearing to determine if she's going to permanently lose custody of her child because of her dealings with the Q-tards and with Timmy and Randy and Field and all these other people. And there is a very, very good possibility that she may permanently lose custody of her child. The evidence against her is overwhelming. And on the other side of the coin, Sarah is representing herself in court. She is not using one of those evil bar lawyers. And because of this sheer stupidity and her insistence on bringing up this QAnon nonsense, she's going to prove to be an unfit mother. And very well may lose her case. Because I understand there's two very powerful witnesses that are going to be showing up in court to testify against Sarah Dunklin. And there's going to be multimedia evidence introduced in court to reinforce the father's side in this case. And it's going to be devastating. Now, the case is dealing with child custody. This is not a criminal case. That part will be coming later on. And it's normal in these kind of proceedings that they're closed. This is why I'm not in Alabama, this is why I'm not in Arkansas right now. Is because this is a family case. These things usually aren't open to the public. It would not do me any good to be there. So I did not go up there. Instead, I'm going to be monitoring the situation, and I will possibly do a rare Tuesday murdathon. I'll announce more of this tomorrow afternoon, because I do have things that I have to do early in the day. So I would not be on the air at least until 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. But we'll see how it goes. Because I really don't plan on going on the air unless I have something of substance about the Dunklin situation. And I also plan on introducing a rather interesting conversation that took place that was sent to me in an email. This is one of several emails I've gotten about how Tim Homeseth's handler recruits people in private chat rooms through private messaging and so on and so forth. It's the same way she got Cynthia Adzug and these other people into private conversations that led to things being done that got these women in a worse situation than they are now. So we have all that to look forward to tomorrow and Friday. You know, things are happening every day. I get information every day. And, you know, I get into this situation where it's just over and over and over again where we have all these events transpiring of the various frauds and shady dealings that these people are involved in. And that people that kind of believe their message are easily persuaded to part with their money and give it to Tim and his handler, allegedly to go out and buy a yacht. Because as I was told in Minneapolis, it is believed that there is a huge amount of money involved. Not just $800 or $900 a month from a Patreon account, but tens of thousands of dollars per month pouring in to a small group of people from gullible followers who willingly hand this money over for a cause that they seem to think is genuine. And what they are going to find someday is that they've been taken for fools. That there are no children being saved. There's no effort to find one single child. That all they're doing is they're repeating old conspiracy theories coming out of Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. That they are allowing foreign powers to influence them and spread false information about Joe Biden and just about everyone else. That this is a well-coordinated professional effort to confuse the American public and turn them against each other in this ridiculous game of he said, he said. And these dim-witted people like Tim Holmseth and his handler and his little group of weirdos willingly spread this false narrative. You know, and getting back on the subject of boats, I couldn't help but laugh that they brought up a guy who got hit with a charge for trying to steal a boat. Now, I don't know much about that, and I really don't care. I did at one time look into that and got the full story of how that situation happened. I mean, the guy messed up. He went to jail. You know, he basically paid for his crime. I mean, but Tim Holmseth is not squeaky clean either. If you look into his criminal record, he was charged with burglary, trespassing. You know, he ran away from a charge of stalking a woman, threatening violence against a woman, advocating that she be executed, so on and so forth. And his people don't care. You know, saying, hell, shoot her, we don't care. Kill her, hang her. They're the kind of people that Tim hangs around with. Tim says, oh, I'm not for violence, blah, 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 blah. And then he turns around and advocates the execution of a woman. Doesn't care if the woman is in danger of being physically assaulted because of things that he puts on the internet. He don't care. So he lies about not being for violence. He's all for violence. He doesn't care. The ends justify the means. Kill him, execute him, without trial. Just today, there was a thing on the internet where the governor of the state of Ohio is the target of a bunch of these morons. That they want to arrest him, charge him with treason, execute him if necessary. The dumb broad that's at the middle of this one declared herself governor of the state of Ohio. Didn't even bother to go through an election process or the legal process for removing a governor from office through impeachment. She just said, well, I'm the governor of the state of Ohio. Screw any elections. Just kick the guy out and let me go up there and start putting up a new set of curtains. They're the kind of people that are out there that Tim Homeseth is attracted to. A bunch of morons. You know, state of Michigan, you know, they wanted to execute the governor of the state of Michigan. When's the next governor going to get executed? Yeah, it's a sweet. Every day that the QAnon death machine is in full gear, doing their thing, saying, let's go kill people. Got to kill somebody. It's amazing what people believe. But this video that Tim Homeseth's handler made is funny on his face. Because it was a big nothing. I thought maybe Tim was going to make a speech. He's going to say something. Not one word. Not a single word. And music. It was basically one of these montages that you can make. There's places on the internet that you can make these little movies. You click on either a short video or images. It's all put together and kind of like a slideshow, a PowerPoint presentation, and set the music. And that's what this was. It was a musical PowerPoint. Kind of a family history. Meant to say, look, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, blah, 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 just like everybody else, and I'm alive and well. But it fell short of that last part. Because he's not alive and well. At least as far as we know. At least he's out on the Ss Terrified Timmy somewhere in the middle of the ocean, laughing at all the people that gave him all that money. Because that's all the video proves. The video proves he's no different than Keith Copeland or all these other grifters out there. He's a guy out for the almighty buck. It's a bad image. You know, playing around at the beach is bad enough because it shows Timmy not doing anything but playing at the beach. Doesn't show him at his desk, hard at work. Doesn't show any record of any children. Doesn't show any children in caves. I mean, remember there was that claim made that Timmy is out there going into caves, rescuing kids and all this. I don't recall there being any caves near a beach in the southern part of Alabama. I don't even know if there are caves in the state of Alabama. There probably are. There's caves in just about every state in the country. But Tim ain't in no damn cave. He's swimming in the ocean. At least he was 6 months ago. So, you know, instead of taking a giant step forward, they've actually taken 2 steps back. They've proven 2 things. First of all, that the last known home video of Tim Homeseth was made near the end of March. And that the video shows Tim Homeseth window shopping for yachts. So, Tim Homeseth decided he wanted to buy a yacht. Or at least that's the appearance that was made here. And see, that's the problem with things. You know, appearances can be interpreted in any number of ways. You know, so shooting a picture of yourself in front of a yacht while on vacation. It's not a good picture to be painting when you've been out of circulation for 6 months. Because this is going to lead people to wonder if you didn't go out and take their hard-earned money to finance a yacht. Because for $600 a month, you can buy a pretty good-sized yacht. You know, just figure it out. That's $6,000 a year for 10 years. That's $60,000 you're financing. Actually, a little more than that, but, you know, we're looking around $50,000, $60,000. $50,000 will buy you a nice used yacht. The boat market's a little depressed right now in this. Because of the pandemic, people aren't buying that many luxury goods, so there's a glut of yachts right now. You can go out and buy a yacht for about half of what you could have bought a yacht for 2 years ago. There's a lot of repossessed yachts out there. There's all kinds of deals out there. $600, $700, $800 a month will buy you a pretty damn good boat. I don't know why the hell Tim Holmesett needs a boat. But, you know, if we're going to talk about why Tim Holmesett would need a boat, a yacht, which is a pretty good sized boat. I mean, this isn't a John boat like the one I've got. This isn't a sailboat. Small sailboat. This isn't even what they call a weekender, a 23-foot weekender that you can sleep in the weekend or something. This is a full-fledged yacht. You know, the ones in the background I recognize, and I know how much these things cost, and they're not cheap. They're $500,000 yachts. And you can actually, you know, you can make a houseboat on it. You can actually live in the damn thing. Because they got a full kitchen, bathroom, showers, hot and cold water, all kinds of accoutrements in these yachts. So Tim could live high off the hog on his donors' money. Or the yacht could be used to get children out of the country. Now remember, Cynthia Absug was going to take her child, because I don't think the daughter would have gone along with it, but she's going to take her son, allegedly, with this diplomatic passport that she had for her and her son, and she was going to leave the country. Now, at the time this fiasco was planned, the Canadian border was open to U.S. citizens. She was arrested hours away from the Canadian border, heading in that direction. She was going to Canada. And if she had gotten into Canada, it would have been that much harder to apprehend her. So they got her in the nick of time. But Canada has an extradition treaty with the United States. She would eventually have to come back here. She would have been tracked down by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and brought back to the United States. So they would have had to get her out of Canada. And what better way to get her out of Canada than with an ocean-going yacht? The boats that Tim Holmesett was taking a picture in front of would fit that bill. Because with a 35 or 40-foot ocean-going yacht, at the right time of the year, it is quite possible to transverse the Atlantic Ocean over into Europe or anywhere else on the other side of the Atlantic with a mother and her child. It can be done very comfortably, as long as people aren't prone to getting seasick. It's done all the time. People take boats like that to the Bahamas almost daily. You know, you can be over in the Bahamas on a 40-footer, 30-footer in half a day. It's about a 6-hour cruise from eastern Carolinas out to the Bahamas. And the Bahamas is a foreign country. So it would make sense to buy a yacht. You can do all kinds of things with a yacht other than go fish. And so here we are. Tim Homeseth standing in front of a yacht. You know, they just didn't get the urge to say, oh, let's go look. Oh, there's a bunch of boats over there. Let's go check them out. Let's see how the other half lives. Instead of possibly being on assignment from the Underground Railroad to shop for a yacht that they can use to smuggle children out of the country in order to escape the rightful parent getting custody of the child. And that seems to be exactly what was going on here. So now, federal authorities have something else to look into. You know, why is this guy that is involved with at least 5 cases of parental kidnapping, attempted parental kidnapping as well, looking at yachts? That's the appearance. It's going to be interesting to see what excuse the task force and the high command and the handler come up for why Tim Homeseth is posing in front of a yacht. They're going to have a bit of a time digging themselves out of this one. They'll dig themselves out of it. They tried to do it with this video and actually wound up digging a deeper hole. Because not only does it not prove beyond a doubt that Tim Homeseth is alive, it proves that in sometime in March that he was looking at yachts. Very expensive yachts. Very expensive yachts that he should not have had the money to buy. So in this respect, the Ss Terrified Timmy has hit the iceberg of truth and is sinking once again. So stay tuned as this little adventure unfolds. Also stay tuned tomorrow as I begin my coverage of the hearing of Sarah Dunklin. And we will see how this one goes. And I may get into the conversation in more detail tomorrow, because it's an interesting tale. It gives an insight as to how the current nonsense unfolded and why. So until then, this is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.